Greatness does not begin on the stage. It doesn't start when the world is watching or when the applause rings loud. It starts in the unseen hours, in the quiet corners of the day, where no one is cheering you on, where no spotlight burns, and where you are face to face with your choices. Private discipline is the birthplace of greatness because it reveals who truly wants it and who is simply pretending. When no one is looking, there are no rewards for effort, only the internal satisfaction of knowing you did what needed to be done. And that is the purest form of drive. Because without external pressure, without accountability, without eyes on you, the only thing that keeps you moving is your own hunger. And that is what separates the committed from the casual. In the absence of validation, the excuses become louder. No one will know if you skip the workout. No one will care if you sleep in instead of rise early. No one will check if you practiced your craft or read the book or took the extra step to move forward. But those moments are exactly where the war is won. You may not see the results today, and the world may not praise you tomorrow, but what you're building in private is a version of you that becomes immune to failure. You are stacking layers of resilience, focus, and strength every single time you choose discipline over ease in solitude. And while the world sleeps, while others wait to be motivated by outside forces, you are transforming into something they won't recognize until it's too late. Every time you show up when it's hard, when it's cold, when it's quiet, you prove to yourself that your word means something. You reinforce that your dreams are real, even if no one else sees them yet. That kind of discipline is a superpower because it's not reactive, it's chosen. And when you choose the harder path over and over again in the dark, you build a mindset that doesn't crumble in chaos. You develop internal strength that doesn't need cheering crowds or public support to stay strong. You become someone who can withstand pressure not because you've been praised, but because you've been forged silently, patiently, There is a misconception that success is flashy, that it is born in loud moments filled with fanfare and recognition. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Success is quiet. It's the early mornings when your body screams to sleep, but you get up anyway. It's the lonely nights when everyone else is celebrating and you're still working. It's the repetition, the sacrifice, the delay of gratification that compounds over time. Not for a single viral moment, but for a lifetime of dominance. That kind of greatness can't be faked. It's not performative. It's cultivated in private through intentional, consistent, focused effort that the world may never see until the result becomes undeniable. When you operate with private discipline, you don't need to tell people you're working. They'll feel it when they see what you've become. Because results don't lie. People may doubt your journey when they don't see immediate success, but if you've been moving in the dark with purpose, there will come a time when your reality outgrows their disbelief. And when that moment arrives, it will be too late for them to catch up. Because while they waited for motivation, you built momentum. While they posted about progress, you lived it. That's the edge discipline gives you. It makes you untouchable to those who relied on attention to move forward. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need a crowd to validate your effort. What you need is brutal honesty with yourself and the courage to act when action is inconvenient, unnoticed, and unrewarded. That's the soil where greatness grows. Because when the fame fades, when the spotlight shifts, when the fans turn their eyes elsewhere, the discipline still rise. Why? Because their foundation wasn't built on noise. It was built on personal commitment, and no one can take that from you. There is a dangerous illusion that many fall into, the belief that looking like you're doing the right thing is enough, that performing well in front of others, saying the right words, and projecting the image of discipline somehow equals actual commitment. But the truth is, performance without integrity is hollow. It may shine for a moment, but it crumbles under pressure. Integrity is what holds everything together when the stage is gone and the lights go out. It's the foundation beneath the surface, the part of your life no one claps for, but everyone eventually sees. Because no matter how skilled your performance is, if there is no integrity behind it, it'll collapse. Always. Integrity means doing what's right even when it costs you. It means standing on your values even when there's no reward. It's being honest when it would be easier to lie and consistent when it would be convenient to quit. Most people will say the right things when they're being watched, but how many will live the right way when they're not? How many will hold themselves to the same standard when there's no immediate gain, no recognition, and no applause? That's what separates the real from the fake. That's what divides the temporary from the timeless. Performance may impress, but integrity is what endures. You don't build a powerful life by looking strong. You build it by being strong when no one else sees. Every time you compromise your values in private, you trade long-term respect for short-term comfort. You might get away with it once, maybe twice, but every small betrayal adds up. Slowly, silently, you erode your self-trust. And without self-trust, you cannot grow. You can't lead. You can't rise. Because deep down, you know you're lying to yourself. That internal dissonance will eat you alive. You can post all the motivation you want, but if your actions behind closed doors don't match your words, you're building a house on sand. And the storm will come. When it does, your mask will not save you. Only your integrity will. Living with integrity means holding yourself accountable, not just to results, but to the process that gets you there. It's not enough to win if you cheated the path. It's not enough to succeed if you sacrifice your soul to get there. True winners don't just care about the outcome. They care about how they got it. They're proud of the way they earned it, not just that they did. And because of that, they sleep at night. They walk into rooms with confidence, not because they know they're perfect, but because they know they're real. They haven't faked their way to the top. They climbed it with blistered hands and clear eyes. Performance might open a few doors, but integrity is what keeps them open. People can sense authenticity. They may not say it aloud, but they feel it when your words match your walk. They respect it when you follow through without needing to be reminded. And more importantly, you feel it. You begin to believe in yourself at a deeper level because you no longer need an audience to validate your strength. You've proven to yourself that you're trustworthy, dependable, and unshakable. Not because people see it, but because you live it. That kind of power doesn't need applause. It builds its own momentum. The world is full of performers, people who've mastered the art of appearances, but it's starving for those who are solid at the core, who live their truth regardless of reward, who remain consistent regardless of attention, who choose to act with integrity, not because it's easy, but because it's who they are. That level of self-respect cannot be bought or faked. It's earned in the decisions no one sees, in the standards no one forces you to uphold. And when your life is built on that, it doesn't matter who doubts you, who leaves, or who misunderstands you. Because your identity isn't borrowed, it's built. And nothing can shake what's real. There is a powerful freedom that comes when you stop needing validation from the world, when you no longer wait for permission to move forward, when you no longer crave likes, applause, or approval to believe in your path. That's when real progress begins. Most people are stuck, not because they lack talent, but because they are addicted to being seen. They wait to be noticed before they act. They wait for someone to believe in them before they believe in themselves. But greatness is not a performance. It is not a show you put on for others. It is a mission you commit to, whether anyone watches or not. The strongest drive does not come from being recognized. It comes from being aligned with your purpose, even in the silence. When you are driven by validation, your motivation becomes fragile. It rises and falls based on how others respond to you. A single moment of rejection, a lack of attention, or a cold silence can derail your progress because your fuel was external. But when you're driven by something deeper, by the fire in your gut, the vision in your soul, the unshakable belief that you are made for more, you don't need a crowd. You don't need claps. You don't even need encouragement. You move because you must. You get up because the mission demands it. And that kind of motivation can't be turned off. It doesn't need a stage. It thrives in the shadows. Most people underestimate what they're capable of because they've never allowed themselves to move without applause. They only push hard when someone's watching. They only go the extra mile when they know they'll get credit. That's not passion. That's performance. That's not power. That's dependency. But the truth is, the work that changes your life is done when nobody's around to see it. The breakthroughs are born in the hours when no one is checking in, when nobody is clapping, when the world has gone quiet. That's where true greatness is sculpted, in silence, in solitude, in the relentless pursuit of your vision without external reward. There will be seasons in your journey when support is scarce, when belief from others disappears, when you're misunderstood, doubted, even mocked. And in those seasons, if you rely on validation, you'll crumble. But if you've built your foundation on internal fire, if your reasons are bigger than praise, then you'll keep moving forward. You won't care who sees you. You won't care who doubts you. You'll just keep showing up day after day, stacking effort after effort, because you're not driven by eyes. You're driven by impact, and impact starts within. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You have to be willing to work when no one claps. You have to be willing to bleed when no one thanks you. That's the real test. Not how hard you can push when everyone's cheering, but how loyal you can stay when there's no noise, no lights, and no recognition. The most dangerous person is the one who has trained themselves to move forward in silence, because once you stop depending on validation, no one can take your power. You've already decided, you've already committed. And when your commitment no longer hinges on the world's response, your potential becomes unstoppable. You weren't born to be understood. You weren't born to wait on the world to believe in you. You were born to lead, and leaders go first, even when they go alone. The road to greatness is often walked in isolation, not because you're unworthy, but because your vision is too rare to be recognized early. You can't expect the world to see what you haven't even fully built yet. So build it anyway. Push anyway. Believe anyway. Let your actions speak louder than their silence. Let your consistency shout louder than their doubt. Because if you stay driven without validation, the world won't just notice you, they'll be forced to respect you. The world often praises the outcome, not the process. It celebrates the victory, not the battle that came before it. But what most people fail to understand is that the public reward they admire was born in moments no one saw. It was built in the darkness, far away from the crowds, the cheers, and the recognition. Private victory is where everything begins. It's in those early mornings when your alarm goes off and you choose discipline over comfort. It's in the late nights when you're exhausted but still choose to push forward. The consistent grind, invisible to the world, is what gives birth to results so loud they cannot be ignored. But until that moment comes, you must commit to winning silently. There are no trophies for the nights you show up to work when you're tired, for the days you choose to study instead of scroll, for the painful repetitions you do when your body is screaming to stop. No one applauds when you say no to distractions or when you sacrifice short-term pleasure for a long-term purpose. But every one of those quiet victories becomes a brick in the foundation of your greatness. You don't build excellence in the spotlight. You build it in the dark, where the only voice urging you forward is your own. And when you learn to win there, without applause, without recognition, you become dangerous, because now your strength is self-generated and no one can take that from you. Too many people chase rewards without respecting the process. They want the applause without the discipline. They want the title without the training. But the truth is, what you do in private is what prepares you for what you'll face in public. The reason some people crumble under pressure is because they skipped the silent work. They tried to skip the private struggle and go straight to the glory. But life doesn't work that way. If your foundation isn't built in the quiet moments of unseen sacrifice, then your success, if it comes, will be shallow, short-lived, and fragile. Real reward only lasts when it's earned through a foundation of consistent, lonely effort. The real champions, the true leaders, are the ones who mastered themselves in private long before the world ever knew their name. They didn't need applause to practice. They didn't need a stage to train. They did the work because they respected the work. They knew that if they prepared themselves in silence, the results would one day speak so loudly, they wouldn't need to explain themselves. Their habits became their power, and their consistency in the shadows became the reason they could handle the pressure of the spotlight when it finally came. The world saw the performance, but missed the preparation. But it's the preparation that matters most. When you commit to private victory, you are building an identity that cannot be shaken. You're not just chasing success, you're becoming the kind of person who deserves it. It's the real win. The transformation doesn't happen when the world claps. It happens when you stop breaking promises to yourself. When you push through the resistance, not because someone is watching, but because you refuse to let yourself fall short. That level of personal standard creates a strength that success cannot survive without. And when your moment comes, you'll walk into it fully prepared, not by chance, but because you earned it with every private decision that no one else saw. People might call it luck when you rise, but you'll know it was earned. You'll know it was built day after day in the dark, where most quit and few endure. You'll carry the weight of your effort like armor, unbreakable, unshakable, undeniable. Public reward is not something you chase. It's something that follows those who have already paid the price in silence. It doesn't arrive for those who wish, but for those who prepare. And preparation always starts in private, where no one is watching, but everything is being decided